So for this week's video, I wanted to show you how I cover cutlery, and I'm going to do this in my Mica Mash Cane, the first one that I made, because I'm making a set for a wedding. So anyways, this is what you're going to need. You can use a little bit of translucent Liquid Sculpey or Bacon Bond. You're going to need your cutlery, which I've just bought from a dollar store. Make sure you get stainless steel or a metal anyways handle on it. You don't want any plastic on that. You'll need a roller and a blade and some patty paper or parchment paper, some kind of thin paper. And after the first layer is baked, I like to use these drywall screens. This one is grit 220, I believe, but some coarse sandpaper will work just as well. And we're going to start with a layer of clay. I've done this on a number 2 on my pasta maker. It's white, but it's not really clean white, so it doesn't have to be pristine. And so let's get started with this. So I've cut a piece, and this is going to do both sides. And I'm approximately 3 1/4 inches. The length that you come down is really up to you. I've got one in the oven right now that's at 3 1/4, so I'm going to match it. You don't want to go too far down. You have to consider what type of food this is going to go in. If it's liquid, so if you're doing, like I have a ladle here. Ladles tend to get dipped into liquid quite a bit, so I'm going to keep this one short. I don't want this part going in the, like if I had the clay coming up to here, I wouldn't want that part going in the liquid. So anyways, on this is a salad spoon or serving spoon, so it'll be fine. So I'm going to take this, and I have to consider that I'm narrower closest to the bowl of the spoon than I am at the top. So out of this sheet here, I'm going to get 2 pieces, and I'm going to cut it on a little bit of an angle. And just straighten out an edge on both sides. I have this side done already. So I'll take one of these and I'll place it on, well, first of all, we'll use a little Bacon Bond. I've done them without the Bacon Bond and it works fine. Or this one is TLS, but either one will work. You don't want a lot on here. If you put too much on, it gets too slippery. A little bit will help keep it tacky. And there is an advantage to using it. It really seems to help prevent bubbles as you're smoothing it out. So that just takes a moment to do. So now I'll lay the clay on. And as you can see, if I flip this over, well, first of all, let's straighten that line out a bit. So I don't need too much clay up at the top end. I'm going to fold that over. Now I'll put the piece on the other side, matching the placement of it. And just smooth it on with my fingers. And then I'm going to trim all this off. So I'm just going to run that blade take off that excess. So now with my fingers, I'm going to begin to bring the edge over to cover the steel part. I find that seems to be the best way to do it. If you're just, you know, smoothing it out, and if you got too much here, it just becomes a big lumpy mess. So this way, I really find it helps control the lumps, and you don't need that much on the side. You want enough so that you can sand it later, but so I'll take a little time and smooth that out. So I'm trying to apply equal pressure on both sides to bring that to the right to the edge and seal up that gap. By not having a lot of extra clay on here too, it really helps to prevent air bubbles forming. So now you need to take a good size roller. They say, and I believe it's true, that a large tool helps to smooth things out better than a small tool. So I'm just going to spend a little bit of time smoothing this out, and then I'll use a piece of paper to help refine it. So then I'm going to use a piece of patty paper, and then with my hands I can start smoothing that joint. If you try it with your fingers, your hands will stick with it, and then you pull the clay and it distorts it. With a piece of paper, it's you can do a lot more with the clay in a more of a gentle way. You just want to make sure that you don't get any creases in there, because that'll transfer to the clay. This layer is not that critical, but if it's not nice and smooth, when you put a very thin veneer on it, your piece won't be nice and smooth. So you do want to spend a bit of time with this. You can also use your burnisher over top and get those edges. I'm constantly lifting my paper so that it doesn't stick enough to give me creases. So that's not too bad. I might spend another couple of minutes on it, but I won't bore you with that. We're almost there. You're going to bake this now for at least 45 minutes. I'm using Premo, so I'm baking it at 275 Fahrenheit. And when it's out of the oven and cooled, I'll be back to show you what the next step is. So my spoon has cured, and this is the one I was working on, and I'm going to have to shorten. You can see how much longer I got. I'm going to shorten it so that they match. So that was just a matter of running my blade through this area and then removing this bit of clay. So that one is ready to be cured. So we'll work with this one. So the first thing I like to do is I like to use a paint scraper on it, and that'll take some of the lumps and things away. It should be fairly smooth because you spent some time doing that, but this is going to really help scrape away some of that, any lumps that your fingers put in. One thing I neglected to say, if you develop a bubble while you're doing that, make sure you pierce your bubbles and work them out. And I'm not going to take too much off of the sides because I know there's not a lot of clay on the sides. So just enough to smooth it out. I love these little paint scrapers. And like I said, I sharpen them with the ceramic cup method from my last tutorial, and just keep them in good shape. This saves a lot of sanding. See just a little divot there. So that's probably pretty good. So now I'll take that drywall screen. The advantage of using this is that it's just, I don't know how to describe that. It'll take the contour of the piece for sanding better. You have to be careful you don't scratch your metal. The scraper has a hard time going around curves. I guess that's what I want to say. So feel it with your fingers. See if you can feel any lumps and bumps. The veneer I'm going to be putting on here is quite thin, so any imperfections is going to show. You could put a thicker veneer on, but I'll tell you the reason why I use a thin one is you get a lot less lumps and bumps from a thin one. Probably because you don't have as much clay to put dents into. So I prefer a thin veneer. Gives me a better finish. So that's good. That's good enough. So I'm going to take a second, clear off my space, and then we'll do the veneer. So I've sliced some slices from my cane. This is the first Mica Mash Cane that I made. Not the one I did in the tutorial, but a similar one. And I'm going to put these slices side by side and squish them together with my fingers. And I know for what I want, maybe we'll flip that one this way. I want the gold color running down the center of my spoons. So that's why I'm orienting them this way. That's probably enough. So then I'll put another piece of patty paper on top and begin to burnish this with, these are those stainless steel odor removers, I think they're called. You can buy them in Amazon and some kitchen shops. So I'll spend a bit of time really binding those seams together. This cane is very forgiving, so it's not like a flower cane or something that you might distort with your burnisher, so you don't have to worry about that too much. I just want to make sure those edges are burnished really well because there's so much mica in there and it'll show the seam otherwise. So then I'll take this to the pasta machine and I'm going to put it in this way so that I make this end wider. I don't want it longer, I want it wider. And I'll start probably at a number 2 because this is probably thinner than a 2 anyways, and work my way, which is the second thickest, and I'll work my way to a 5, which is quite thin. I have 9 settings on mine, so a 5 would be quite thin. So I've done one already, and this is what I ended up with. So I'll set these slices aside. and we'll work with that. Okay, so here's my spoon. So I'll lay this on. We'll put a little Bacon Bond first, or TLS. Get to the bottom of my bottle. Okay, so now we'll lay that on the spoon. And I'm going to cut it. Now if you got wide enough, actually let's flip this the other way around because I'm wider on the other side. If you get it wide enough, you might be able to do this all in one pass. So let's try that. We'll start folding this over, kind of stretching it as I go. Probably won't make it, but we'll see. Okay, where it overlaps, I'm going to just trim it. And just encourage that clay to stretch. Okay, that's getting closer. If you're going to get an air pocket anywhere, it's usually right here at the top. And then at the bottom, I just use my blade or any kind of tool and just kind of bevel that in so that you got a nice edge. Blade will work for that too. So that's pretty good. That's stretched not too badly. You could choose to do it the same way we did the white veneer, where you would put a solid piece on the back and a solid piece on the front. If I was doing a cane that had a pattern to it, I'd probably want to do that. This kind of cane, I don't think is quite as important. See, I've got a little air bubble there, so that's got to be pierced. Let that air out. So as soon as you get that as smooth as you like it, it's ready to be baked again. I'll bake it for what I call a full bake, so I usually bake it for an hour, but another 45 minutes would probably be sufficient. And then these really benefit from hand sanding and polishing. Any sealers that you're going to use on them, you know, probably will wear off. You'll have to tell whoever you've given these to keep them out of the dishwasher, but not because they're going to ruin them physically, but they'll the dishwasher soap will etch the finish. So, and certainly if you used a varnish, that would it would probably come off. So, but I sand these and polish them by hand, and they're beautiful. So that's how you do that. I find they're really well received. Everyone I've ever given any to have just been really happy with them. Makes a really nice gift. So I hope you try these if you haven't already. And I'll see you next time. Bye.